well, let's get into it. Today, guys, we got Chad. Is it Fegley?
Fegley, yeah.
Fegley, okay. And then Sketchy, Vert, Jered. I don't know how to pronounce your last name. I don't think anybody does.
Just Muley. That's fine.
Muley. It's a common thing on this podcast where I don't understand. I can't pronounce anybody's last name until I get into it. So I just had to keep it rolling. Sketchy, Vert, and Chad just finished Sick Week with his car. Came in first place in stick shift. He has the red Corvette, not Ruby. Turbo is under the hood in the grill. In a good location.
Yes, nice and clean, nothing sticking out.
Nice and hidden.
Yeah.
Well, it's not hidden, but it's there. It's nice and low. You did like 3 of the builds on Jered's car throughout the time, right? Would you say?
We did a lot of the original builds on Sketchy back in the day.
Couple renditions throughout the time.
Pro Charger, and then did the original turbo setup.
And this is your second Sick Week?
Second Sick Week. First completed.
Yeah, the first one was hard on stuff.
Yeah, I broke the tranny at Bradenton.
Yeah, you windowed the tranny, which I haven't seen a windowed T56.
The only thing that I can think happened is it sheared all the teeth off a second gear, and I think it just stacked them against the side of the case, and then it just wedged it and blew the side of the case out.
That was crazy.
It was
like
crazy.
a 4-inch by 8-inch square taken out of the trans, which if you've been around T56s, especially in Corvette, they're not fun for quite a few reasons, but they're also not as readily available.
Right.
Which makes it fun as well.
Yeah.
But what happened on that one? You just called it there, right?
Called it there. Talked to Garrett and got the trainings from Leroy when he came back from Sick Week, and then ran Street Car Takeover the following week.
That's what happened. I thought you got it from Garrett or something like that. What diff do you run on that thing? Is it the C...
It's a C6Z case with a spool.
Yeah, because they're weird on the diffs too.
Everything on the Corvettes is weird, yeah. So the non-spool diffs have little axle stub shafts that stick out that like to break. Yeah. The nice thing about the spool is it gets rid of those and has actual hubbed stubs that stick out, and they're probably almost twice as thick as the stock stuff, so much stronger.
Yeah, I remember that was a weird thing on the Corvettes. You were like looking for one that had a spider on the top of it. You had to like hunt around to find the one with the right casting, because they had so many different variations and then different gear ratios.
Like I broke the stock case for the Grand Sport, my original diff, at my very first Rocky Mountain Race Week. First pass, first day, broke the diff on that. And so then the upgrade from there is a ZR1 case. So RPM got that for me, and it's been good ever since.
Yeah, that's quite an upgrade too, is the ZR1, which they made only very limited of.
Yeah, so they're expensive when you get them for sure.
Yeah, once you can find one or you buy one from GM, I'm sure they don't have them anymore, but kind of the fun of it. Corvette stick shift racing is not for the faint. Stick shift racing to start, and then
the Corvette adds. And then I've made it worse, because like when I did the 25.2 chassis, the number 1 bar in the back, you can't have it removable. Like before, I used to just drop everything out the bottom.
Yeah.
Now everything has to come straight out the back.
Because the torque tube doesn't come out anymore.
Right, it doesn't drop down. It all has to come out. So just the progression of building the car has really made some service stuff on it very difficult.
Can you get the torque tube out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to pull the trans and the diff out first, completely out, radiator because it's back there, and then the torque tube, I have to finagle it, but it'll come out.
Yeah, I remember that was always weird because there's not much tunnel there. But you could, a couple of guys have put the trans up front now on the Corvettes.
Yes.
It's kind of becoming a thing if you cut
becoming
enough.
A thing, and it becoming a thing has kept me from wanting to do it. Like I want to, as long as I can, try to keep the car Corvette configuration, tranny in the back, diff, IRS. Not to say when I did the chassis, I feel like I left enough room that I could put the tranny up front if it ever gets to that point. But on that same token, I also have a power glide set up for it that's just been sitting in the corner that now I feel like as good as I've done with the car, I might as well just get rid of it because it'll probably never go in it, But so I've left options open for it, but.
Yeah, those power glides are just as funky though too when you put it in the back.
Yeah, it's still power glide, and then it's still Corvette diff with independent rear, so you're not
still a Corvette diff on there.
Yeah, it's not the 9-inch one that I got. So
because you could do the 9-inch upgrade,
like Ruby's got. Yeah,
or you can they bolt the Corvette deal to it, which
Yeah.
I think the Power Glide output is the same as a Corvette diff.
Could be they're just really long, you know, because they have to
Yeah.
go through the whole diff.
And it's like the same amount of like, because they're all GM. I think they go right onto each other if you cut it in the right spot on the Power Glide.
Gotcha.
They're kind of weird like that, but RPM has made all kinds of crazy stuff. But then I don't know. I mean, yeah, your car's so cool, stick shift, but it would be so fast auto as
And
well.
I've thought about it because back home, right? So like when I first built it, we had a pretty good stick shift class. Like I do, Joey Heichel does no preps at our home track, and I sponsor them every year. The shopping does. So we always had really good following of stick shift there. Like we would max the class out, like 32 cars or whatever. It was always really good.
Oh, wow.
And then slowly over the years, it's dwindled down to where I can't get 12 to show up.
Do the same cars show up now, just auto, or is it? Kinda
No,
they
I
just
feel
disappeared?
like they've just disappeared. Like they just have gone away. And things have also progressed. You know, like back in the day,
Jered.
that's when we were running. We were running 630s, 640s, or whatever. And cars are just faster now. But so I've thought about going auto just
mile.
because it would open up for me.
Eighth
but-
mile for anybody that heard 640.
Yes.
His thing, yeah. Eighth mile stick shift no prep, which is kind of a niche in a niche.
Yeah.
In a niche.
So then, like, I've tried to get a stick shift, and everyone's like, well, if you're going to race, I'm not going to race. And I mean, I just want people to race. Like, I would set my car to the side just to have a stick shift presence there, but it's still, I just can't get cars.
That's kind of, Joey was on, and he was kind of saying the same thing. He's
Yeah,
like,
when he races.
I can't, like, if I show up, suddenly the car count starts to go down.
It's amazing to watch, like, behind the scenes, to know and then to see it. Like, it's 100% true.
Yeah, same thing
100%.
happens when I show up. People start. My car's not. That's why Jered hasn't showed up to race.
In my defense, I just haven't been. The car hasn't been running the way I wanted it to.
Ironically, you showed up at the Christmas tree race, and I wasn't there. Huh.
Yeah. Where were we at?
Adds up. That you only show up when I don't. Maybe it's the same pewter Camaro, and it's just people haven't realized yet.
Yeah, I would not race that car. the one that I know you're probably talking about.
Yeah, so you sponsor the I-29 deal.
Yep.
Joey was talking a bunch about this. The
Yep.
episode has come out by now, but those events seem pretty cool because it's low prep, which is kind of the back and forth.
It gets, I mean, by the end of the day, it's pretty good.
Like 120, 60 foots on it, or
Yeah.
even faster.
Probably faster towards the end of the day, but it gets good initially, but then down track is crap. So then you really have to power management, to keep it going. But
I was wondering, could you you show up on a slick, and then by the time it gets good, you just put your radial on?
Possibly. I actually, so last year for the no prep with the Vet, I'm like, screw it, no stick shift class. I'll put a slick on it and put it in small tire.
Mm-hmm.
I was all big and mighty. I was at Bradenton, ran a 740 with it. I'll go hang with these small tire cars. And I couldn't even get it to go 50 feet on a slick again.
Just second gear, leave it.
I tried that once, and my clutch was not happy. So I put radials back on it, and it came right back and went down. It was nowhere near fast enough to hang with small tire stuff. But
Yeah, what do you think you can run on what's your normal eighth mile on the 740
so
then?
my best eighth mile at my home track with the Vet is a 520, I want to say, in the eighth, and it went 480 at Bradenton.
Yeah. What kind of mile an hour did you get on the quarter mile?
In the quarter, 195.
Yeah, I mean, so that's
It's cooking. And
That's
the
pretty
cool thing
healthy.
is it's nice. So last year I went 195. This year I went 195 the last day at Orlando, and it took 8 pounds less boost.
oh wow.
So I'm super happy with the currently how it is.
Combo is
Yeah.
working really
It's good.
well
I took some weight out of it, but then it's also got a better turbo on it now, a little bit different camshaft. So to pick up the same mile an hour on 8 pounds less boost was
need some water?
was good.
To put them closer to you.
Thanks, Coop. Thanks for taking care of us.
Yeah, of course. I got to take care of my guests. I forgot I put them out of reach. Yeah, what turbo's on that thing?
It's a comp oilless 106.
I've heard it. You're not the first person I've heard talk about the oil list. Joey was talking about those
Yeah.
too, and I remember when they first came out, I was a little weary, but it seems like, you just
I'm not
did
gonna
sick
lie,
week with it.
I rely on Joey for a lot of my data, right? Because he races so much. So he's had really good luck with them. And my goal over the winter was weight loss. So the precision that I had on it had, it's low mount. So I had a scavenge tank, scavenge pump, lines, regulator. By the time I switched over to the oilless with the turbo and the lines and everything, was like 27 pounds.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's pretty significant to be able to take that off the nose of the car.
Yeah.
And especially because you're talking no prep if you go.
Right.
To bring it to worse track where you need
the
weight bias to be in the back. And then Corvettes are odd.
They're already there, yeah.
It's already back there.
Yeah, it's like 56% rear.
Yeah.
Depending on how much weight I have in the fuel.
Knocked that out pretty quick too, because you worked on it when I came down to visit you at the shop.
I worked on the weekends. Like I always feel bad about working my own stuff during the week, right? So I always just try to do Saturday, Sunday on my car. So it was. I mean, I pretty much started. I tore it apart right after. When was it? Was it after? Oh, whatever. It was like 3 months of weekends trying to get. I had to put a whole tube front on it, turbo. Had to redo all the turbo piping.
It was wild to see though, like just all the work and the man hours that you probably had in that thing.
Yeah, Corvette life, and they're kind of cool because they have such a prominent frame rail to build off of.
Yeah.
Like it's not any question what's the sturdy
it's
point.
a big, huge frame on the outside for sure.
Yeah, you get like.
But I also wanted to get that out of there because it was heavy. So.
But even once you cut it wherever firewall.
Yeah.
I don't know how far back you cut.
At the firewall.
At the firewall, you still have those two frames to build off
huge,
of. Which is like you cut a Fox body there and you're like, I don't have it.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Right. Yeah, it's a full perimeter frame, so it's nice to have that, like you say, that bulkiness to be able to build off of.
And yours was a Grand Sport, so it's
steel frame.
Steel frame. It's not aluminum, which people would think you'd want the aluminum, but then once you have to do anything,
chassis work right, it becomes a big pain.
You have to bolt it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would do a 25.3 in a
that'd be tough.
Aluminum framed car.
You'd have to bolt it. You'd have to do the 25.2 chassis itself and then just bolt it to the frame, and then it just becomes a ride along at that point.
Yeah, that's a weird one. That would be odd.
Yeah. At that point, I would think I would have just cut the whole frame out and just done a whole tube chassis type of deal. But I've always tried to keep the car. I mean, I know where it's at now, it's race car, but I've always tried to keep it looking as much street car, stock, nice Corvette as possible. Like I really struggled with putting the wing on the back just because I wanted it to look as stock-ish as it could be.
So,
Chad,
how, what that Grand Sport was, pretty much, 5,000 miles?
The first time we ever worked on the car, I had 800 miles on it.
So I had 800. So how did that feel?
Miles.
Just
when I bought it,
cutting.
when I bought it from the customer, it had 2,200 miles on it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and it's now got like 7,000. So.
And most of that has been now with a turbo. It seems like.
Yes. Yeah, it's all been drag and drive really for the most part.
Good miles on the Corvette, no beating miles. Right?
None. No, I baby it just to the grocery store.
Yeah, man. Whoever got those seats and stuff got. Because I'm sure they're out of the car now.
They're just up in my loft at the shop.
Those are probably clean.
They are. They're super nice.
Yeah, that's probably a nice ass seat right there.
Yeah.
So Ruby, which everybody compares it to, which probably painful, has been just.
At least it looks better now. Sam got his hands on it, and at least it looks better. But
it's still rough, and it's a narrow body.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
But the same red, right? I think it's the same Corvette red.
Actually, I don't know if it's the same red or not, but they may be close.
Yeah, they're not too far.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty close, I think.
It would be funny to watch those two line up. And then you were the car in the other lane when Kevin famously.
Yes.
Those were like.
It's crazy. I've been in lots of wrecks.
Millions of views on your car after
I've been in lots of wrecks dirt racing. Never once had anything like that happen on a drag strip, and. It was crazy. I'm glad Kevin knows how to drive because he did a phenomenal job keeping it where he needed to do. And
well, you made the right decisions too on your part because technically you could have driven right through him.
Yeah, I saw it smoke and I saw it wiggle, and I'm like, quick. I mean, I think by the time I even had the thought, I was already off the gas. But I know I remember thinking, do I just try to blow by it or what? And by then, I think, like I said, I was already off the gas, moved over through the chute.
Because you're only like 100 feet behind him, if that, when he.
I'm lucky that I was just trying to build boost on the line, so I left a little bit later than him. Because I feel like had we been side by side, it could have been maybe a little bit worse.
Yeah, because he was like 80% in your lane at that point. Like he was sideways in your lane. Thankfully, you had enough space for him, and like you said, you've dirt track raced, so I mean. watching somebody wreck isn't exactly
Yeah, it was
out of the ordinary.
It was definitely different. It was a weird day at Orlando that day for sure.
Yeah, watch him lose his head gasket. You probably, because you had the front row view of what actually happened.
Yeah, I wish he sent me a
was on that
message. He's
side.
like, "Do you video stuff?" I'm like, "Man, I wish I did, because that would be an amazing video."
Would
But
have been so bad.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one, and it's great to laugh at it now
yeah,
because
everything.
Kevin was
worked.
fine, and
Yeah.
he probably enjoyed the video of it because after the fact, those videos are great.
Right.
Yeah, and it goes viral, and then everybody sees
Yeah,
your
it's
car.
good
and you're,
pub, and
yeah,
He might need some new tires on it.
I'm sure it needs tires.
a little bit of flat
For
spot.
sure.
He probably flat spotted those things pretty good. I don't think people realize that.
Yeah,
when
how
you
quick
lock
that
up the
happens
brakes-
at 140 some. Yeah.
Yeah, especially those front ones. I'd put him on chip though if he has the back. They're good enough for me.
There you go.
For the used set of tires, I usually demote a set to that car.
Oh man, good old Chip.
I mean, your car's probably gonna need new tires too,
We were
right?
just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, we were. I was gonna go to the store and get some for
Yeah.
Streetcar Takeover.
Where are you at on that thing? Streetcar takeover?
That
Is
was-
potentially the plan.
That was a plan.
Maybe we still we're fighting some weird bank to bank fueling, trying to figure out. So
Maybe I just had the heads kind of redone, and we think maybe
we found one valve that was being hung open, like it's got Johnson short travels in it. So they did.
Talking to that mic, Jared.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I know you're like you just got this.
I don't mind yelling at
thing,
you.
And
I'll be honest.
you always yell. Even on sick week, he yelled at me all the time.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes you deserve it. To be honest.
It's very true. Anybody that knows Jered knows that sometimes he deserves it.
I do deserve it. I'm like, okay, it's like a boot in the butt, you know? Like, okay, I know I talk too much and drive my friends crazy, but at the end of the day, I know you guys love me. So it's
Yeah.
all good.
100%.
We just had to be a little hard on you here and there.
Yeah, it's
I mean, I don't
fine.
want to listen back and not hear you talking, you know. So
Right.
I had to do it
Is
to
that,
you.
is that okay? Like,
Yeah, no, you're
okay.
good. But so for people that don't know what the last, I mean, you haven't been on in like a year.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
last year of your car has looked like has been quite a road.
Yeah, it's been a road. Yeah, for sure.
It's been at quite a few different shops.
Yep.
It's been
Yep.
apart and back together a couple different times. Where are we at? What's going on?
So we ended up after I was here last. So the shop that was working on it before when I first moved to Florida, like he kind of moved on and just kind of doesn't have time. Like he did a great job putting it together, doing everything that he needed to do, but there was just some other things that needed to be done. And I think Size just got with his whole. He got another business going on or whatever.
Yeah, he's more
so-
manufacturing.
Yeah, parts manufacturing.
like parts
Yeah.
manufacturer,
As every-
laser stuff. So
Every shop owner wants
Trying to do,
get
yeah.
out of being a shop owner.
So yeah, and then I was talking with Chad after kind of that, and he was, kind of tuning the car for me because I still needed some drivability. I was having some overheating issues and brake issues or whatever, so I needed to get all that taken care of. And then it kind of to the point now where we're still having the issues, but I'm gonna probably end up taking it to Chad here and just having him go through everything and making sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
the brakes issue, I remember that one. I was
Yep.
trying to help you through
the
that.
overheating, remember?
Overheating.
We had to take the
do
water,
the water
pump.
pump.
Oh, yeah.
We went back to an OEM GM water pump,
Yep.
which
It's been awesome. Like,
I
it's no
prefer
overheating
that.
issue.
Well, it's
Yep.
nice too because if you're somewhere and you need one, just go to
Yeah.
parts store and get it. You know.
yeah, over those weird electric ones that
Yeah, I
you
hated
can never
that.
find. And they don't have as much flow.
No,
They just are good because you can,
you're
when you're
not.
idling.
Yeah.
But they also take the battery, and that's
Yep.
more drag on your alternator, which,
And then your brakes, you took the brake booster off, but you had those big ass CTSV brakes up in the front.
yep, I still have those. But then Chad was saying when I put a mass or
Usually, when you go from a
Mechanical.
power to a manual brake, you need to
Manual.
change the pedal ratio.
Yep. I had to redo that
and I
on
know
mine.
that wasn't probably done right, so
I had to drill a hole a little
Further
higher,
up,
just
yeah.
like a couple inches higher
Yeah.
on my pedal.
yeah, it's like I know that's probably not done. I was kind of like, we'll put it in and then we'll ship you out the door, and
Mm-hmm.
like they kind of stop. It kind of worked, but good luck with that.
Some people just don't realize those little nuances to doing this stuff. I mean,
For sure.
you would think a lot of people would, but
Right.
it's just these little things that anytime you add a part, nothing's bolt in,
No.
even though the kit should just bolt
Right.
in.
Yeah,
Say-
they say bolt in or whatever. It never is. Everything always requires something.
And I will add, taking a pedal box out of a Camaro does suck. It's not fun to do. You're like,
It's awful.
Especially one of the roll bar or cage or whatever already
yeah,
just laying there.
not
Yeah.
that fun.
Yeah.
I had to adjust the brake just to keep the lights. Remember when we had it on your lift and the brake lights wouldn't go off? So I had to climb underneath the car and oh my gosh, I was claustrophobic. I couldn't even do that for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, under the dash gets no fun, and you don't have a steering column in there either, right?
I do. Yeah.
Does it have a
Stock column.
stock column? Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have an after. Yeah, so then there's
So
less
there's
space.
right, less space.
Yeah.
So it's
So
all, I don't have.
there's this level where you have to decide how a street car is your race car and how a race car is your street car.
100%.
And
It's
And a lot of times
keeping
we
the
fight
comforts.
that and fight it. Like I just
Yeah.
mentioned earlier, like I fight that every day on the Corvette. Like, you know,
how much dash is in there? How
Yeah.
much steering? Do you have a steering column in that thing?
I still have the stock tilt
oh, come
because I
on.
want to keep it. You know what I mean? But it's 30 pounds, but it houses the multifunction switch, everything for drag and drive, for the turn signals, the wipers. So if I go to an aftermarket column, then I'm having to put switches in for all that. So it's easier just to leave that setup. But I tell myself all the time, I should have another one for like TX2K or World Cup that's
Yeah.
just a column I bolt in that's light.
30
take some
pounds
more
is
weight.
pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty.
pretty substantial.
100%.
Yeah, I mean those little bits. My
Weight all
car,
adds up.
I freaking had a bucket that I would just try to add metal to. Any piece I could cut off, any bolt I could take out, I was just trying to fill up a 5-gallon bucket. And that was my goal. It's like if I can fill up a 5-gallon bucket with parts,
Yeah,
and
it'll be
stuff
substantial.
every couple months or every because you could cut off wheel, take this off, take that off, like.
You got everything right there.
But it gets scary because then you're like, wait, is this needed?
Is this important?
Is this structural? But then once you add enough cage, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
the cage does it all. Anyways,
Yeah, I definitely need to get more cage too, but
yeah, but your car already weighs as much as a full size
I
truck.
know. But then I could do like the heavyweight class and
Microphone.
oh, sorry.
I know you're talking to me.
I'm just talking to you like you're normal.
No, there's gonna be comments that's like, I couldn't hear Jered. Like, I know, I tried.
I yelled at him again and again and again.
Yeah, but then your car, you have 3 subframe connectors under there.
Yeah, Midwest chassis and a BMR under there, I think, and then it's just
It's a tank.
it's a tank. Like,
And then
it's
being
always been a tank.
convertible with all the convertible stuff.
Everything.
still.
Yeah.
And it's not like Devin Vanderhoof's car where it's like convertible, but he kind of.
Made it race car.
I think
and
the convertible doesn't have all the convertible mechanisms
to
still.
work and
You can kind of take a couple springs out and stuff and lighten it up here and there.
so that's the goal though. Doing the streetcar takeover heavyweight. You know, once the cage gets in more, probably have to talk to Chad about fabricating me something, or Nathan. You know, I don't know.
yeah.
One of you guys. Why it's in Nebraska.
So since you were here, though, you did do the 388 in there, right?
Yep, 388
And
cubic
then
inch.
you guys dynoed it, and then what did it run out of? Spring pressure on the.
No, I think we're doing something. It was this.
You broke the tranny.
Yeah, I did the Christmas tree race, and
Yeah.
we turned it up, and broke the tranny. Like,
Well, it
completely.
sheared the bolts off the converter.
Yep, 'cause
and then
it's-
once the trans free spins like that,
Yep,
basically it'll take
the
it out.
output shaft, or was that the output or input? What side? It was like the front of the tranny.
Oh, that was the input.
The input.
That's
Yeah,
input.
Yeah.
and the pump right there.
Yep. And then I waited months to get that done, and then months to get it back in the car. You know, because just trying to get it scheduled
Mm-hmm.
to everybody because I don't have a shop. You know, you're busy, so I didn't want to bother you because I always bother you.
And it sucks taking a trans out because then it's held up on a lift
Right.
until the trans goes back in.
Right.
Yep. And you had your own cars to work on, so I.
And my shit's always broken. My trans was probably out
I mean,
at the
we need to
same
get
time.
real. At the end of the day, there's race car stuff. It's all always broken. You know what I mean?
we're
Like,
always-
it's
there's
not.
always something that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna get in and drive it.
If
and I'm
someone
like,
tells you that their stuff's
yeah.
never broken, they don't race it enough or whatever.
it's
Like
It's not going fast enough.
No.
They can turn it up more.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know, I try to get in my friends' ears all the time that haven't broken their cars enough, and I'm like, you
Turn it
really
up.
should turn that thing up. Really turn that up. I've had this conversation with a lot of people of the sit them down and kind of come into Jesus of how race car, like, what do you want to do with the car?
Right.
You have customers. You probably have to do this all the
Oh,
time
yeah.
where you have to figure out their expectations and reel them in and be honest with them of like, how cut up do you really want it? yes, you can have like the Tom McGillen, the Why Not Camaro, you know,
Right,
those
yeah.
is- but guess how much it's going to cost?
You're right.
If you want everything like factory, but also a twin turbo big block in your ZL1, guess what? It's going to be expensive.
It's gonna be a lot of money, and everything's gone up since me and you have been doing this. Even since Chad's been doing this. I mean, Chad, you've been doing this since 1950?
At least, yeah.
Cutoff wheels are cheap though. If you could just keep cutting away, that's where you
keep
save
cutting.
money.
Cutting away, just keep going.
Horsepower is expensive. Cutting your car
Yeah.
up to make it
And that's
lighter.
the thing, yeah. Like people don't realize like power to weight's where it's all at. I mean, if you can take 20 pounds off your car, like it's gonna matter. You know what I mean? At any level.
Your trans will
At
thank
any
you.
level, yeah. And that was the other thing. So like I was breaking trannies, and I'm like, the lighter I can get my car, the easier it's gonna be on parts.
And
So-
for you can't get a better tranny. Like if you had like a Turbo 400, you can just spend more money
Right.
and get a better one.
Yeah. So they did finally this last year come out with the Magnum faceplated for Corvette. They had it not Corvette for a long time, but didn't for the Corvette. The the T56 was the best. So I sold one of my T56s, bought a Magnum, and then I have a T56 as a backup. So the Magnum at least is a little bit stronger than what was in there. But yes, that is the best there is for the setup that I have. Like there's
Yeah,
nothing better.
You're and that's like from a GM,
Right.
right? Like
I mean, the
or
case
from,
is it's
Tremec.
Yeah, the gear set's aftermarket
Yep.
for 1 through 4, but everything else like is from GM. the way
That's
it
where
was.
it's so weird because like Turbo 400, like I said, you can
Well-
spend as much money as you want and get
And
the
like
baddest
I
one
tell
in the
people,
world.
so at Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0, I didn't finish this year. I broke the first day, and what it was. So the clutch is still on the motor on the Corvette, and then there's the torque tube, and there's an input shaft on the torque tube. So I call it the torque tube input shaft because people get confused with tranny input shaft. They don't really make an aftermarket one of those. So I still have just a stock GM torque tube input shaft. Well, it bends. And as near as I can tell, it's probably just on launch. It probably turns into a noodle because it bends up and then it rubs on the guide for the slave cylinder and it ended up rubbing so hard that it broke the guide and then the slave cylinder didn't work. So that knocked me out. So then I'm like, I got to find a better one.
Yeah.
Well, they don't make one. Just is what it is.
Yeah, and
They make them for, there's a company that makes a full sequential Billy Badass whole deal, but of course that's not H pattern. So
Yeah, you don't fit anything.
yeah. So
can
I
you-
just buy spares and just, it's a consumable, you know what I
Be
mean?
prepared to replace it.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can modify one? Like, have you?
I mean, at the end of the day, I feel if I had the time, I could probably find a company to make it, but then it's a cost versus, like what's it going to be?
Just a
So for now, the one that was in there, like I could see when I serviced the clutch, I could see what it was doing, but it hadn't been an issue. So I just left it. And
would
then
hope
it became
Tick
an
would-
issue.
You'd hope Tick would jump on this.
You would think so, but I feel like there's not a lot of people that do the Corvette and keep it Corvette. So there's probably not a big demand. You know what I mean?
Well, there's 2 Corvettes that are really fast racing right now. Not to say you're not, but there's 2 that are in like the 6-second zone. And there's the black one and the white one. And the black one that I'm thinking of still has a torque tube and everything.
I think it does as well.
Yeah, but then Betty White is basically a Pro Mod.
Yes.
That thing is
Yeah.
light.
Yeah.
It's like 22.
And then Josh Tonsky's got
oh yeah,
gray one or
I forgot
whatever
about.
that is
They have
stupid fast too.
shoot, what's the name of that thing? Junk Money.
It could be what it is.
Yeah, Junk Money. That thing. It's been
It
200
went,
miles an hour.
It went 701 at like 209 or something that World Cup a couple years ago.
Yeah, that thing's awesome.
Yeah.
Really
That's
clean
flying.
turbo kit and
Yeah.
stuff on that.
Yeah.
But Josh is. I think even isn't he building another stick shift car? He's got a
He's got a Mustang.
Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I just saw that he was changing up his turbo kit on it or something.
That's
so-
almost like a cheat though to put a Fox body together.
Yeah.
as
And
a
most of
stick
those
shift
guys
car.
aren't like I'm a true like I still consider my Vet a street car, right? They're like
Mm-hmm.
full on race car. I would say the closest non-Corvette street stick car is Jeremy Howell, Flat Fox.
Mm-hmm.
He was at Sick Week. He unfortunately broke on the first day. We would have been fun going back and forth.
There's been quite a few broke on the first day of
Yeah.
this sick week.
Yeah.
Quite a few fast cars were gone real quick on sick week. Yeah, and That Fox body's real nice too.
It is.
It's a fast car, and is it LS or is it small block Ford?
It's a flat plane crank, like I'm probably butchering it.
I thought it was
it's like a
something
5.8.
weird.
It's like old school, not old school, but like a 2011 GT500, but has a flat plane crank in it, turbo.
Interesting.
So it's still all Ford, which is cool. I think he's been 730s at World Cup.
Yeah, that thing's spicy.
Yeah.
The stick shift racing is so weird because there's the street car like you, but then there's that
Crazy, just like 666 scrub worm, like
yeah.
like he goes in the 8th mile. I think he's been like 189 or something. I'm like, Jesus, like it's crazy.
I've only
to
been
even,
181, and that was a roll race, but I went 178, I think.
And I saw him talking.
racing.
He likes to talk smack on Facebook, but I saw him talking about how he's really going to turn it up and lay the smack down this year. So it'd be interesting to see what he does, because I mean,
know.
it's impressive for sure.
He hates you LS guys.
He does.
He's really anti-LS.
He likes to talk to smack, which is cool because it gets everybody fired up. It keeps everything interesting. You know, it keeps it relevant.
Need to be that, like that, bickering back and forth. Because
it's
if
cool.
you don't have anything to bicker about,
And the
what's
cool thing
point?
is all the
Exactly.
stick guys, like I've messaged him and asked him questions and he's helped me out. Like when I melted a piston down a couple weeks ago, Josh Tonsky messaged me and we
Yeah.
the community is tight. Like we all help each other whenever possible.
And they're
you know?
both motor builders and tune their own cars and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah.
they're
It's nice to get
they're like
info,
you, where
talk
you
to somebody.
build your own shit, you
Yeah.
tune it, you race it, the whole nine.
Yeah.
Not just kind of like somebody else does this, that, or the other thing. You know.
Right.
Like me and Jered, you know, we sit back and other people build our stuff.
Yeah, like I'll just come over and you just help me do some things.
Somebody's
and
building my engine right now. I mean, it's 7 o'clock at night, but I imagine they're
They're slaving away.
slapping the gasket on as we speak.
I was actually shocked to see that you didn't have the motor in there when I walked in your shop here.
I know, I've been busy, you know.
The new dad.
Kid and-
Yeah, the
mean-
freaking kid isn't ready to work yet, so I'm patiently waiting for him to learn how to work on a car. Or was hoping that, I don't know, maybe somebody would come and do it for me. It's like, I open
Just
up the door every
miraculously
morning. I'm
be
like,
there.
"No,
Damn, it's still there.
nobody worked on
Still
it yet.
apart.
not done yet. Well, hopefully tomorrow. We'll
I'm
come back.
hopeful.
That's crazy. You had your kid, and you definitely have been changing your life a little bit since in the last couple months.
There's been a lot going on. It was good that the motor came out before he came. That was a plus.
That's a big plus.
because that helped. But then, it's at Fast Forward right now, which shout out same people that built Brett's engine. So, pretty
it's
much
in good
just
hands
as
then.
cool.
Right.
Equally as cool, 2 less cylinders.
So they're gonna make it equally as horsepower, right?
Yeah, I think 3 less trans gears, it sounds like. But cruising in a Corvette, because you have all 6 gears,
Yep,
right?
Yeah.
That is nice.
So it's also weird. So the biggest question that I get asked when the car's sitting there and people come up and look at it, have the hood up, the number one question is, where's your radiator? So it's back where the mufflers used to be. The stock frame rails are like 17 inches apart.
Yeah.
So the radiator is pretty small. But it's pretty crazy because the thing will sit in traffic all day long, 120 degree heat. It will run at where I have the fan set to come on at 170, whatever. Runs great. So when you get driving down the road, like 55, 60 and above, there's a weird airflow thing back there. And I've tried different ducting and stuff. My buddy had a really good idea to put a camera back there with some string and just see what the air's doing. But regardless, like 55, 60, cruising, it starts to warm up. So then I got to slow down and let it cool back down, which is probably better, at least that way than the other way. I can at least sit in traffic and not have to worry. But I know Guido will cruise down the road at 85, I can, like, if it's a cool day or something.
Through like
but
12 states
Right.
and 2 countries.
8,000 miles, it's insane.
He'll drive multiple countries away just to...
And hit the same time at every track.
I've heard a lot of debate. I've seen that, you see it on Facebook all the time. Somebody's like putting the radiator in the back, and then there's the back and forth of like, it doesn't work, it does work. It's weird that you would put it where the factory exhaust is. You would think that those would get some airflow on them. You would think GM would want to cool them down a little bit.
You'd think so. I've got my
Like
radiator
some
pretty
ducting.
flat. So there's a lot of things I'm going to try. I'm going to try just to make it wider, like just like 2, like stack it and see if it's just a surface area thing. I feel like it should get air back there. I tried doing weird things, like I got a puller fan on it. I tried putting a pusher on it too. And there's some weird physics going on there because it would break all the fins off the top fan. Like it was a weird, learned some pretty crazy stuff. So stuff that didn't work, stuff that does work.
It's just because people that know a Corvette, there's like a pocket under it
where
they put.
I've got a little bracket that I bolt on when I drive that grabs air and brings it up. I didn't use it at Sick Week this year. I wanted to try without it, and it did okay. So,
but you're also towing a trailer.
Yeah, so. And my bigger trailer this year. I got a bigger trailer because now I have to take a spare tranny and diff.
What kind of temperature are you comfortable with on that thing?
I start to slow down and let it cool down at 220.
That's pretty high. I mean, I guess GM factory stuff is 220, right? Like,
220, 230.
Right in the center.
I normally tell my customers, like, depending on how built the car is, like 230, you need to pull over and get it cooled down. Mm-hmm. I'll maintain 220. I'd probably let it get a little bit warmer cruising down if I had to.
There's that misconception that you just put a different thermostat in your GM car. So
right.
it's always like yeah, I get it, but it's not gonna make it run cooler. Really,
the biggest thing with the most GMs is GM doesn't even turn the cooling fan on until like 230 on some stuff.
Yeah, and
so
all
a
that's
tune
in the
will
tune.
turn the fan on sooner, and then it definitely helps it out. But
yeah, because that was always like one of the upgrades on all the CTSVs, right? You just put a different thermostat in at the 160 instead of the 180, but it really shouldn't make it cool any better. It just make it cool sooner. And then eventually, the longer you drive it, it ends up still building up to the same temp. I mean, it's gonna get hot to what regulates it. If that's airflow past the radiator or whatever is going to be the determining factor. Size of the radiator. Yeah, you have another issue. If it's getting above 220, it's not your thermostat or anything like that. It's probably a different issue. I know that's just the common CTSV upgrades is like thermostat, cam, injectors, tune. That's what, I don't even know if mine has a thermostat in it. I'd be curious.
Mine doesn't. Mine's still stock thermostat. But it's got a cam, injectors, flex fuel.
They're usually 180, right, from GM?
Yeah, 185, 195 probably.
Yeah, because, I mean, my car was already modified when I got it, so I don't know.
Ditto.
What somebody did, you know? I never really wanted to dive into it. The tune's good, so I never had anybody
touch it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? Just enjoy it.
The trans shift's nice. I'm like, I don't want anybody to touch this thing.
Right.
Because me and Jeremy at Faster Prompts have talked about it a few times. They're like, should we retune this thing? It's already got ethanol in it. I'm like,
if it's working, like
touch it.
Yeah.
But then it's still got weird stuff, like because he did look at it and it's like the cat overheat temperature deal still is on.
Weird.
So like nobody turned that off. Where if the cats get too warm, it starts to pull power or whatever HP tuner.
It floods it with fuel. Yeah.
So that's weird. So if you drive it too long, the cats are gonna get hot, and then naturally it's gonna start being less powerful. And I've had that happen where I was roll racing this Porsche 911 Turbo. We roll raced like 5 times back to back. And after the 5th time, he was putting so much more car on me every time.
Like, what's going on?
I know, I was so disappointed because it was going just as fast every time. And then here I am losing a car every race. I'm just like slowing down, but heat soak on those things.
Heat soak is, I tell customers a lot when they call and, can you price me a supercharger or, whatever. I always have to just go through with them, like a PD blower like that has heat soak issues. Like you're going to get a good pull, and then every pull after that, it's going to go slower. Like that's just the way it is.
There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, I mean, you can spend money to get bigger stuff to help, but at the end of the day, like just the nature of the beast, they're going to heat soak. Like they're going to get hot.
And mine has no it has all factory, like it has the factory reservoir that's stupid.
Right,
it's not even a reservoir.
No, it's just a little thing, the plastic thing that sticks up to put fluid in it.
Yeah, it's just like a little funnel almost. Like it doesn't really have anything to it. It's like, oh wait, this is just so you know it's bubbling. It's got a pump though.
You can at least visually see if it's empty.
Exactly. It's got the most minor cooling system ever. I've wanted to upgrade that, but I don't know. It's one of those things. You don't want to touch it.
I bought a trunk tank for mine, and then it's business owner stuff. Like, we get busy, and it gets put to the side, and I think it's been like 4 years, and it's still sitting in the corner.
I don't know if I'd want to run the lines like that. I feel like I would just do like a Cortez.
Something big in there. Yeah, I agree. And that's
just something a little bit more, because those lines to run them to the back, and then you're like, now I'm drilling a hole to mount a
Which my V's not that nice. I bought my V. I live on gravel, so it's got high miles, and bought it knowing that I'm gonna just keep putting miles on it, drive it on the gravel and not worry, you know. But anytime you have to string hose 20 feet under a car, I agree.
It's heavy too, because like I have that in my Camaro. I have a water tank in the trunk. I'm like, man, these are so heavy. I need to switch to methanol or something, because like
God's fuel, as
just
everyone
so
likes
heavy.
to talk it. Methanol is amazing.
people love methanol.
Yeah, it
But
is.
every car I know that really runs methanol seems to blow up more. I don't know if that's tuner
That's true.
issue.
Like I agree with that.
I think it's
You'll
because
see it.
people push them
Yeah.
harder. You know, you push them harder. There's definitely different tuning. Like they require a lot more fuel than an E85 car. Like a air fuel ratio lambda value that you would run E85 on, you cannot run methanol on. Like it just requires a much richer, like
and
a
these
lot.
Holly guys are just like, it'll correct.
It'll be
Yeah,
fine.
just
My O2 knows what to do. I click close loop, we're good. Like I just let the fueling take care of it. Those Holly guys have a lot of faith in their Holly correction factors.
yeah.
I'm just sitting back and just in awe about all
Hanging
this
out.
I'm in awe about all this information. I'm overload right now listening to Chad.
Information overload.
Usually he just yells at me, so it's like, you know.
Do you want me to get you a 10 mil to hold? Just go grab one from the tool.
I have I kind of quite a few of those actually.
We look over and it's lost.
It's gone. Where did it go?
I don't know.
I was just around nitromethane and man, talk about God's fuel.
Yeah, that stuff. 1.6 to 1 is the stoic of nitromethane. So
He said
I don't know what they
one
run.
to one.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably 1 to 1 at
That's
racing
what Clay
level.
was saying, 1
Yeah.
to 1 air to fuel ratio. I was like, that doesn't even like.
It's insane the amount of oxygen that carries.
Yeah, Clay just gave me this piston. He signed it and all. I was like a little kid fan there.
Yeah, it's nuts.
It's definitely cool. It's crazy to see them tearing down a motor that frequently.
Right.
Like, you think LS guys tear down motors? These guys are doing it every
run. Yeah.
And they have to do it in 50 minutes.
Yeah, in between rounds.
Pistons and everything.
How many guys are in a crew like that? Like to do that?
It's like
5 or 6?
yeah, I'd say-
8 to 10.
Yeah. There's like a
Jeez.
clutch guy, a whatever, and then a bottom end guy, a head guy, a blower guy. It's awesome.
Yeah, I was talking to their crew chief
I can't
a
wait
little
to
bit
see
on-
you guys suck it all in on Sunday.
I'm
It's going to
excited
be
for it. I've never been anything like this
be
before.
awesome.
and-
Yeah, to watch John Force cruise by you on a scooter, I was like, what the heck is going on?
Are you serious? He's here?
Yeah, oh yeah, he was in
I think
his-
I saw that Brittany was racing. I didn't think he
He's
was racing.
racing too.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, they got the
Sweet.
peak car out.
Dude.
Nice.
I watched him
Yeah.
cruise by me twice on a scooter. I was like, this
That's
is weird
awesome.
at Bradenton, like the same track.
Icon, yeah, that's
Yeah, you're like, I mean, we were here in the car. We were working on sketch last night, and we were here in the cars.
Yeah, and you're like, what, 10 miles away?
14. I looked it up,
he looked
14
at
miles,
14.
and it was like,
You can hear it.
yeah,
pretty
it was
well.
still pretty good. I'm like, Sketch, wait till you're like right there. Like, it's undescribable.
That's so freaking cool.
Yeah.
15 miles away, you still hear it. And you guys have a lot more like opening between you and the track. I have a ton of houses. I don't know if I can't really hear it
Yeah, I
as
hear
well. Maybe I need to like sit out there at night
You
and
can
like
probably, you might be able to hear it.
the flames. You got to go when it's
At
dark.
night, yeah.
Because the
Flames at night
are
are sweet.
I mean, I watched Ruby get gapped. Like a 3-second head start, and this thing came, which I was kind of nervous for Garrett on. I was like, man, like, that's a scary situation.
That is getting passed by one of those cars. I couldn't imagine what that would just,
Like, that scared the crap out of me.
yeah,
Like,
just.
I want to
nuts.
see if you can see it. I would love to see if you could see it in his data log when the car came by him, because it was spraying nitromethane into an open turbo.
Right, see if it changed
What,
any.
10 feet away?
Right.
There's an open turbo with trying to inhale now nitromethane.
That's crazy.
It's all his power now. Like,
Yeah, all of a sudden it picks up and lets the motor go.
blows it up.
So what's next then? How, like, obviously you think about next level of your car, right? You're like,
Yeah, I feel like
now
it's
I gotta cut
always-
it more.
It's always in a progression of something. I can never, Coop, that's always been my problem with drag racing, is it's never enough and I always want to go faster. That's why for a long time I took some time off and raced on dirt. Because they just had, here's your rules,
Yeah.
go race, you know?
Yeah, door to door or whatever.
Yeah,
It's not really door to door. It's kind of just opening, cabin
Yeah.
opening to
But
opening.
So
And you're talking late model dirt.
I did sprint cars, I did hobby stock car, so kind of, but it's,
But sprint cars are so cool.
They're
it's
insane.
It's such a different thing to see that. Like, I've seen Alex Bowman do it a bunch where like they're on 2 wheels and it's all downforce, and they're relying on this downforce to keep them from crashing. It
Yeah,
seems like.
it's pretty crazy. We're driving up to Volusia tomorrow to go watch the Outlaws. So
Oh, cool.
That'll be fun.
Well, he wants
I
to
couldn't
go,
be in
so.
Florida and have the Outlaws be this close and not go watch. So
Yeah, whatever the Outlaws
especially in
is, it sounds
February,
cool.
like it's cold back home. Like to think that I could go watch an Outlaw race or go watch Top Fuel Cars in February is just freaking exciting because it's.
This is cold and crappy back at home. Like,
I didn't realize how much circle track racing there was in Florida until Jered got the Freedom Factory, and then I started noticing all the
All the
other
other
tracks,
stuff.
because there's like 10 tracks within 5 hours of here. They're
Yeah.
all either dirt or gravel or asphalt
or
oval.
asphalt oval, yeah.
And there's a good amount. Like it's pretty healthy.
It's popular. It's all pretty popular.
Even by you, I'm sure.
Oh, Midwest is the king of dirt. Like you probably can't travel 30 minutes any direction and you'll find a dirt track. You know?
So that seems cool, because once you buy the car and like you're good, it could be competitive. Where for drag racing, every year you have to new turbos, new
but
engine.
the problem
this,
with the
that.
dirt stuff, right, is you're on the track with 20 other guys and they don't care about your stuff. And you're just wrecking and you're always fixing stuff. It's an every night or every other night try to get the car ready to go
Plus,
race.
you got to fight some redneck after.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I'm super laid back. Like people that know me know I'm like really laid back and go with the flow. But racing on dirt will get me fired up. Like
I would
being
like to
out
see
there on the
that.
track.
I've
like,
never seen him fired up.
Yeah,
before,
I can get
like,
fired up
he's
pretty
so
easy on
kind
there,
and
but-
nice, and I couldn't see him fired
I'm
up,
competitive,
so.
so it gets
Well, circle track racing does that. I mean, you see NASCAR drivers
Oh
fighting
yeah,
each other.
it's you
Like peak
You
level-
get out there, emotions take over. Like it gets crazy.
Have
But
you ever fist fought anybody out there?
no, I got fined for flipping a dude a bird once. What? Yeah, I ran out of the track and flipped him a bird, and I got fined $100.
What?
Yeah,
So you didn't throw your helmet at him, did you?
no,
Worth it.
no. They said I'm supposed to set a better example than that. So.
You didn't run into his car. What if you run into somebody's car? Like, or
They'll just call you to the back, either take you out or put you dead last.
Have you ever
or
done anything
something.
like that?
Oh yeah, I mean I got called for rough driving every now and then. I mean it's
Sounds
dirt
like
racing, it
NHRA.
happens.
yeah.
Yeah.
They love NHRA is the same type of way. They love finding people for stupid things. Yeah.
So back to the question about the car.
Yeah. Where do we go from here?
The Corvette is first and foremost a drag and drive car. So I'll probably never get it away from that. I'll definitely find ways to probably make it better. But then I also have a big tire Camaro, and now I bought the Unicorn. So I got
Yeah.
too many irons in the fire. So
You gotta get
at
that
some
ready.
point, I can't focus everything on one car. So it's a lot, but
Yeah, you got to. Unicorn's running now, but you
I
got to.
completely forgot you bought that car.
yeah.
I'm calling him out.
Yeah.
At ice
Yeah,
cream-
he wants
ice
to
cream
he wants to
cruise.
race me at Ice Cream Cruise. So
Okay.
Like old days.
The Unicorn.
and then I
versus
promised
Sketchy.
Kyle that I'd let him run an 8-second. He ran 9:01, I think, in it.
Oh man.
Oh,
yeah.
so close.
So whenever we get there, he wanted to run an 8 in it. So
Yeah, and that car's been together for a while now. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's what? How long ago did
I think
you
we
guys
built
build
it in
that? Like,
17,
Is that 17?
and then rebuilt it in 18, and then fixed it in 19. I mean,
and 20.
yeah, it's stick shift car. I mean,
I know.
they break, and it broke, and it would break and break some more, and
And it made a lot of power.
That's
lot
why I
of
got rid of
power.
my stick shift car.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one TH100.
And now look at you.
Yeah, still broken.
fixed
The
all
utmost
those issues.
reliability.
Still broken. So, I was just wanting to get in Sketchy and just drive the dang thing and just go out and just do some street polls, and I think we're almost there. I mean, I got the overheating issue fixed. We got, pretty much now everything except for the heads, right?
Yeah, we just need to get it
some
to-
funky things.
To get all the weird
Fuel,
stuff that it's
whatever.
doing fixed, and
So, and I gotta have him do the brake. have him do the brakes on it the right way. So,
That's the tough thing about race cars is there's always that next step, and it's unfortunate to be like you just finished your car, and then some dude's like, "Hey, what's your next step?" And you're like, "I haven't even maxed out the potential yet."
yeah.
I guess a bigger turbo. Because I'm thinking about it too.
my next step is
wanna-
it's running.
I want to get my aluminum motor back in it because that was saving weight,
Yeah, another 100 pounds off it, I'd imagine.
114 pounds.
114 for.
But I'm into wheelies now. I noticed my last couple runs at Orlando were in the wheelie sensor, so
yeah,
I've
but
never.
if you could take 100 pounds off the engine and then put 50
Yeah.
pounds farther forward.
Right.
still
Yeah.
a
Give
net
me some
positive.
options, and I haven't even played with front suspension or anything yet, so I've got room to go. So
Does
I'd
it
like to
have a
get-
good good stuff up there. How
So when I did the tube front end, I tried to keep it pretty much the same suspension geometry that was there. I gave it some more travel. The limiting factor was the ball joints were binding, so I fixed that and gave it some more travel.
That's what I was wondering, because Corvettes have a pretty small strut to begin with.
Yeah, so that's all out. It's. I still used my same coilover that was there. I just moved some stuff around. Right before sick week, I noticed that it has a whole lot of camber gain, which isn't probably very good. So I need to redo my upper mounts, but I didn't have time before we left to come here. So
because a lot of guys just do the Fox body style or SN95 style.
I could see that, yeah.
Because it adds everything's so simple at that point.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, super simple.
And you fit stock suspension. Stock suspension rules are so weird. If you have a stock suspension from any vehicle that's
it's
ever
still
existed,
considered stock suspension.
even if it's not a Corvette, it's like, yeah, those are SN95 spindles. So yeah, they're stock on your Corvette. It works. But I was so surprised when I put my SN95 together how good the front suspension really is, because you get those long ass struts, everything's simple and lightweight and nice 5 lug everything, and
Chip's consistent.
Chip's a great car.
Yeah,
it's a real hot rod.
Yeah, we did what after sick week was a week after that we did streetcar takeover.
If that, it was like days after.
And we got called out.
2 class wins.
We didn't even do an oil change.
Yeah, we didn't do an oil change. You had to prop the hood with a chicken. Was it a chicken bucket?
It was just a bucket. Yeah.
So we could cool it off.
That was incorrect, though. I actually figured out later that I could have not done that if I had just opened the fuel cap.
But dude,
the fuel
it was just
fuel vapor lock was the problem.
But we did run out of gas the first time.
Yes, we did run.
He showed me the gas station where you guys had
where-
to get gas.
Yeah,
and
that
he
was
told me
sad.
all about the whole story.
Sick Weeker helped us out.
Yeah,
as
he
they do.
stopped us and
Sick ward.
Yep, and then we.
That's what it's about. Then that's the cool thing about the Dragon Drives is it's really a community of people helping people.
Everybody's awesome. This is
For sure.
fun.
The best group of people all the time. But the vapor lock thing is a common thing that seems to happen with all cars, and then they're LSA fuel rails, so they're returnless. If they
just
simply
sits
had a
there and-
return, they would be fine. Or you just crack the fuel tank open and you can, if it gets hot, you can crack the fuel tank open and you hear like, so I'm like, oh, that's fun. That's safe. Nice. Just pressurizing.
Gas fumes going everywhere.
The bucket did look pretty cool. Everybody gave us a good time on that.
That's true.
And then we also got, what else? The taillights. Everybody was worried about our taillights. Remember?
Well, they were out.
the lack of taillights.
We passed tech and then everything failed.
It was barely a street car anymore.
I was like, if they reteched us, we would not pass.
Oh, we didn't Boosted Boy's Kyle ended up driving Chip.
Yep.
Because
Boosted Boy had to drive it home because his car was broken. So
he said he was getting high off the fumes.
that's the other flip side, because it was on 93. It's just pump 93.
Right.
You'd probably drive yours on 93, right?
I do.
Yeah, because some people still try ethanol. They just have to kind of hop around.
Right. If there's ethanol there, like I'll give it ethanol, just give it some more octane, because with the gear ratio that I have in the tranny, with the 0.52 overdrive that it has, or 0.58 or whatever, it lugs the motor pretty hard, so I can detonate it if I have to. It's still 11.5 to 1 motor, so if I can get some ethanol in it, I prefer it. But
So Unicorn, I mean, you touched that a little bit. You bought the Unicorn from Kyle. You were the one that obviously originally did everything. I remember hearing how fun that was to put that engine and that turbo kit all together in there.
it's interesting. Like there's a
I love John at Huron Speed. Great dude.
Yeah.
absolutely,
Awesome.
and the quality is good. But at the end of the day, there's just not a lot of room for all that stuff, and it's a chore to get those in there. Like you have to pull this housing off to get this part in, and then put the housing on. Like there's a specific step of operations to get everything to work in there.
I would pull my hair out doing something like that. I couldn't do it. I don't know how you do it, Chad.
It's a tough spot for turbos.
Yeah,
It's a tight area.
because
they're by
stay
the
hot. By the
trans, I guess you would almost say.
by the
They're-
bell housing.
Yeah, they're where a
Yeah.
trans would normally be, but they're by they're low mounted
Yeah.
in the back turbos, which is a very tough spot. A lot of people do that on the CTSVs the same way, and it's just adds all that piping, and then everything's tight, and then you do a 6-bolt block.
Yeah, I had to, when we went to 6-bolt, I had to modify the header because of the extra head studs. It it all changes everything. Like, you think it's just going to be a bolt-in, we got this new badass motor, and then, oh, shit.
Well, LSX blocks are
changed.
weird to begin with because I've just heard crazy things about, like, sensors don't pick up right sometimes, like crank and cam sensors because of
Sometimes the
spacings.
LSX crank sensor, the spacing gets off and you need to respace it. But I still have, on the Vet, it has an LSX block, and I'm still running a modified stock location crank sensor, and it's been great.
Yeah, because that's what Jered's running into, right? Cranks.
Yeah.
So we had issues with his back in the day in that location, and even modified ones were bad. So then we put the 36-1 wheel on the front.
Yeah.
But then they've been having, hopefully we
Yeah,
finally got
issues
that
with
fixed, I think. But
I think, we finally got that.
hopefully, knock on some
Yeah,
wood.
well, your car's been all weird too because, like, when I uploaded that tune into there, suddenly everything was wrong. Like, it was just you try to update V6 and then everything fights itself, and it's just
The race car.
yeah. I wasn't qualified to be doing any of that. I was just there. I was just like the most qualified guy out of the 3 people. Which isn't saying that much.
I'm glad, Cooper, he kind of did tell me, though. I was like, he's like, well, I don't know if I should be doing this, but I'll help you.
I dove head first. It wasn't my proudest, but
I was kind of like, hey, I mean, I learned a lot with that day. I learned a lot. Chad's been teaching me a lot and, kind of doing tuning and things like that. I've been trying to learn a lot. It's just, it's a lot of it over my head, and I'm just, I try to take it in as much as I can, but this guy is like a computer whiz when it comes to
I don't
tuning.
know about that, but
Yeah.
well, your car has everything to be really impressive. All the parts on it, turbo size, engine size, like engine trans, like everything on there. It's got that Dana 60 in there. It's very popular these days. It's got everything it should to be a 7-second street car.
And
Maybe
Yeah, no idea.
other than
I
weight,
don't
it's
do
just
that.
heavy.
it's just
yeah,
heavy.
I
But-
wouldn't
do it a lot.
Yes.
Race.
It definitely has the capability to do it. I
every
wouldn't
now and
recommend
then.
it. I wouldn't recommend it every weekend.
But it's kind of like it's the sketchy racing, getting all that going, and then but I love seeing my friends all race. So when I I kind of like when the car's pissing me off, I just want to be like, I'm done with this. But then watching you guys all race or doing sick week with you, I was like, man, it like brings you back into the racing again, and they come on, everybody, your friends, and seeing everybody. So
You would have a real blast just doing sick week with that car.
Yes.
Just whatever they say you can go with the cage, which probably wouldn't be very fast.
1450s.
Yeah.
yeah for now.
14s with that cage.
But even being on, that's what I told him. If you did sick ward and just drove with us and we just whatever, like just the whole,
We know Coop does never want to do a sick week with me again after my directions.
Well, you had lack of directions a little bit.
I did. I didn't bring my glasses, and for my defense, I couldn't see my damn phone. So
That was the problem we ran into for sure. It was tough. I was like, okay, what are we doing here?
now all you do is you scan.
yeah, they have
Right.
just the scan thing in it. Gives you the whole thing.
So now we're good again, right? Like
Now we're fine.
if we can do it again, right? You're
Yeah.
Okay.
I did a little bit of sick week this year. I just followed from Orlando to back to Bradenton and then hung out at Bradenton. I just did that one ride, and that seems like the most enjoyable one. Drive down the A1A, nice on the beach area. The rest of it, you're just kind of driving through the middle of nowhere, Florida.
a lot of it, yeah.
Yeah.
And you did a lot of driving. We couldn't hear each other for anything, so I just was like twiddling my thumbs the whole time.
Yeah, like I don't mind the noise of my car for like the first 4 days, but by the 5th day, I'm like, I can't wait to be in my truck and just drive my truck to
Just
where
like
I
the
can hear
quietness.
myself. I can talk to my wife or whatever. But
I mean, Cooper was happy. He didn't have to listen to me talking blab in the car the whole time and just drive him up the wall.
I mean, the quiet though, the drone just starts to like wear at you.
Yeah.
It's just like a little pick, and then at
it's
some
like the
point,
Chinese torture where they're dropping the water on your
yeah,
face.
at some point you're just like, I think
It's enough.
I think I've gone crazy.
Yeah.
It's like
Like we have a white noise machine for my baby, and like after like 8 hours of it, and it turns off, I'm like, whoa, like it almost like oh, I didn't realize it was affecting me like that.
For sure.
this is so much peace. There's so much peace right here now. It's,
Yeah, because it's kind of the same thing. The drone is almost like just white noise after a while. You stop at that gas station and you're like, I don't want to go back in the car. And it's like 3 a.m. and you're like still like 5 hours from your destination. And you're like,
Yeah. Luckily this year we did one and dones and we were able to, I don't like driving at night. So we were able to mostly drive during the day, but we had a couple night deals. But
Yeah, we thought we heard Chip, right? Was the rocker or something?
Yeah, just
It was
one
like-
rocker came loose.
He came back, I was knocking. I'm like, oh no, we're done.
Talk about best case scenario of a knocking motor.
right, to just have to tighten a rocker down. For sure.
And it's just a unopened 5.3. And I mean, it's not that fast, but
Where'd you get that 5.3 at?
I just bought it used from some dude that he bought it from a pullout, and I just
like a Gen 3 or Gen 4?
it's a Gen 3.
Gen 3?
Gen 3, 5.3, heads cam. So, I mean, it's probably making like 600 horsepower,
Yeah.
but still.
It's so consistent though. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, streetcar takeover. Like, by the way, thanks for letting me race the car since mine was broke.
Yeah, well, and then mine broke that day.
Yeah, then
Bless
yours
you.
broke. But you had a team. You had an actual race team that day.
I did.
Did it feel good to manage a race team?
I felt like an owner.
You
Yeah.
feel like an owner?
I felt like an owner.
That was fun to watch that last year for sure.
That was a good
was
time.
sweet.
I couldn't believe that it won that class, the two classes, because we got called out.
Yeah, we won 1050 in that car, and then also won front wheel drive.
Yeah, Chip's a winner.
Somehow won front wheel drive.
Yeah, they came up. Did they come up to you or did they?
The event promoters, Chase and Justin, who own Streetcar Takeover, approached us and they were like, "Hey, there's this one front wheel drive car. We have a front wheel drive trophy. He's entered in the class. He has nobody to race. Can he do you guys want to race him because you guys have such an impressive car?" I don't know, the verbatim said something along those lines. And then I kind of felt bad. I was like, well, I mean, it's not really a front wheel drive car, but we'll race him. And he had a bad pass, he didn't even make it down the track. Front wheel drive car, and then the car just consistently went 1050s.
No, it was like driving Miss Daisy. I just released the button and boom. It was
Yeah, and then
10
you have
seconds.
to have to drop the button too. It's
Grab
just
the
on
wheel.
a string. It's on a little wire.
That's right.
So it's fine for racing it, but in reverse, you also have to hold the button. So you're kind of fumbling around with this loose wire.
Then we ended up we had to pick it up from Garrett's, didn't we? Or
Yeah, we left it there
we
overnight.
left it there overnight.
I only had room for one on the trailer, and I was just I'll go get it later.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's good.
Just pump. I mean, it is pretty impressive. It's pump 93, stock bottom end 5.3, unported blower.
And you built the car yourself. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
but it goes 1050s on pump 93, which
that's awesome. That's
it's
fast.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Because a CTSV is probably not doing that.
No.
Not 1050s on 93. I mean, yeah, maybe it's just not that safe on that car. But yeah, it's a pretty impressive car. The goal would be to put a 4L80 in it. That would be nice. It would be really fun then, because the Power Glide makes it a little miserable. 4L80 then.
Cruising. Yeah. You could.
So
And the Terminators can run that now.
Yeah.
that's true. And what's your plans with the car with Chip?
I don't know.
4L80, it sounds like.
4L80 would be
Is-
nice.
Is that your?
Me and Matt Happel at Sloppy have talked about it a bunch. I just haven't pulled the trigger because I don't use it enough. You have another car, you start,
Yeah, it's
something
having
gets
multiple
back burner.
cars is probably
Must
not
be
the
nice.
smartest thing. You know what I mean? It's
It's not.
it's not at all.
It sounds like it'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah!
But it's really just instead of one car getting a bunch of attention, two cars get half the attention. each.
Exactly, 100%.
It's so
that's
dumb.
what it is. Yeah, it's
So that because
it's,
you have your hands full because you got you got 3 Corvettes.
So
now?
like,
And, you got a
we'll
GTO
come
now,
back
too.
from Streetcar Takeover here in a couple weeks with the Corvette, and I'll park it, and then it's Camaro time because then I'll race the Camaro at my no prep that's coming up.
You got the big tire.
So then
Camaro.
I'll have to focus on it. So it's like you said, it's
And then
they
on
each
top
get
of
half.
your customers and your business
Yeah.
and
The same amount of funds and time gets spread across.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just self-deprecating to ourselves instead of just focusing on one car.
yeah.
because you got the Cadillac too,
Yeah, but that
And
doesn't
then-
get touched. It just sits.
but you race it sometimes.
No, I don't race that car.
You just
I haven't made a
it's-
pass in that car in a year and a half.
It does get burnouts at your wedding. It did really
Every
burn
time I
outs.
drive it, it'll do a burn.
Every time.
That's
Every
weird.
single time I go somewhere with it, I'll do a burnout. It goes through tires.
So on the Camaro, what is the plans for that? Just doing the 2JZ again, and then
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Just freshening, or is it?
We did a new
changing.
cylinder head because that one was too used to put it back on, type of deal.
So when they get too used, what does that mean? Like they
It was just kind of starting to get wore out. It's starting to shift a little bit. You could see some movement, I guess. Not not the engine builder, but that's what they told me. So
It's like,
new casting from Toyota, they're like $1,500. Toyota cylinder head, not like a LS, or you could get some badass
Right,
aftermarket stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just bolt it back on and
Send
use
it.
it until it starts shifting again and starts getting wore out. Because you can only really, once you torque them down enough times, they just
For sure.
starts.
Even
getting
LS
worn
heads
in.
are the same way. I mean, at some point they just have a service life, moving around.
moving around and you have to rebolt.
So new head.
New head, same bottom end, new valves, put it back together. Same turbo for now. I'm hoping Precision comes out with their next gen 86 here soon. I keep poking at that a little bit. And then that'll up the horsepower a little bit and then break the next thing.
Yeah,
I need a 400 is what I need. But the 400 I need, they're
Is
proud
like-
of those things.
Yeah, it's like $15,000.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how much they
nuts.
charge for those things?
Yeah, it's
and we're not even
it's
talking
insane.
lockup.
Yeah, it's
like, what makes them that much? Like,
it just. I mean, at the end of the day, the places that build them are good at what they do, so they deserve to get paid, right? But parts are expensive. I mean, aftermarket case, aftermarket gear sets, aftermarket pumps, aftermarket valve bodies. You know, it all just adds
Converter.
up. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like 15 grand. Not even converter, not even lockup.
Yeah.
Once you add lockup into it, you're like 30 grand. Yeah. And
I
then,
can't afford that. There's
And then the fluid in there is like $80 per jug. And then you're like, is this fun?
this isn't even fun anymore. Like,
This
I
is
wanna
a
go back to
hobby.
stock again. I want to have these problems with stock,
Yeah.
but it wouldn't be as fast.
Exactly. You watch your friends go fast and then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
shit. You open your wallet and you're like, shit.
Yeah, you're like, man, like it's you're like, it's just like, and you go to the, you break your car, and then you're like, man, now I can go to the track. But you're like, I don't want to go to the track. I'm just depressed right now. I don't want to be. I was so depressed after it didn't make the Christmas tree race last year. I was like, yeah, I'm depressed. I don't want to go to the track.
I know. You know what you should do? You should put your power glide in the unicorn.
Yeah,
That'd be
It'd
pretty
be an
cool.
option.
I mean,
you can't do that until we race, though.
I got to keep it slow.
Yeah, you gotta keep it slow.
just don't tell him.
There you go.
I mean, it'd be pretty cool with that setup, and
Yeah.
it should fit.
It should fit, yeah, because it's got all C6 stuff in it already.
What are you trying to do here, man? Like, I'm trying to get any
And then you have another trans for your race
Right.
car.
and then you'll have to, yeah, that's.
That would actually be a really
that'd be-
cool car at that point. That would be a fun drag and drive car.
Yeah.
I
And
know
it's
the
a
cage,
Other than the
Beautiful car.
cage,
the cage is a little wonky. In
it's just got a bolt-in roll bar.
it. Swing out door bars
What?
that are
Yeah,
like intrusive.
so I'd
is
have
that
to do
cage for?
something.
Is it good for like
stock. Oh
yeah.
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 stock runs?
Whatever a 01 can do with
11 seconds.
yeah.
Really?
Like 1190s or something.
There's like even like in any cage, anytime one of my friends like I'm putting an 850 in my car, I'm like, you need to go higher than that. Like
Yeah.
850 cages now are useless.
Yeah, cars are so fast now that an 850 cage is like what used to be just a roll bar. Like
Yeah.
like you're gonna outsert it and you're gonna have to go faster and you're gonna need to change it.
Because going 850s, I hate to say it's so easy. It is such a simple process now
Yeah.
to go 850s.
funny.
Like your car's gonna go 850s lifting at 1,000 feet. Like it's gonna roll to that
Yeah,
pretty easily.
I'm praying for just to be at that level.
No, it
like,
will. Like
'cause,
there's
like,
no doubt.
Yeah.
It's been a headache the last year to even get the thing on the track or even testing it or whatever. But
Yeah, you probably deal with customers all the time like this.
It's
Oh, I order my 427 and two 98 millimeter turbos. Yeah, we'll just put a roll bar in it.
yeah, just a roll bar.
Okay.
That's how it was. Like Chad's like, when we started building Sketchy, he's like, you need more cage. You need more cage. Like he's been on me about it. And I'm like,
I get
yeah,
on my
know.
friends all the time about it.
Yeah, and you've been on me about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
See?
but it's definitely needable. I know I need it, and
It's
a
the
safety
most
thing.
expensive part of the car, though.
Yep. Once you get
So
that,
quickly.
honestly, the dashboard, you would not want to rip that out, would you?
I mean, we could make it fit back in there. It would suck.
It would suck. I mean, when like
Anything's doable. With enough time, enough money, you can make anything happen.
My car's got a fiberglass one, but that's because the one that I got with the car was so shattered. I was like, this thing will never go back in. It didn't even come out, really. I used a hammer half the time.
I was
to
gonna
get it out.
ask you, how did you get it out? Was it all nice and
Oh, it was
bolt by
like pieces.
bolt?
Like it was just shredded because, it's a freaking 99 Camaro
Right.
that had 300,000 miles on it. Like everything was just ruined in the dash.
Done deal. And now you're going to get carbon fiber fenders and quarter panels and stuff for it?
I mean,
flooring? Is that what you're going to do?
The front panels are already pretty light. They're plastic.
Oh, that's good. Just put quarter panels in.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I would just buy a different car before I go any further. Because it's still got glass. It's still heavy there. I mean, your
That was
car...
the other thing I did. I put off buying Lexan. And I bought it, and then it sat there. And I'm like, I'm not going to put it in. I'm not going to put it in. Then I broke my aluminum motor. Had to put the steel motor back in, and I'm like, screw it. We're putting...
Well, the glass is heavy, those hatches.
It is. So,
like Camaro hatch glass is like 90 pounds.
Yeah, you open my deck lid now, and it like orbits. Like it wants to open so fast because the strut rod's like there's no weight to it now. It's crazy. So
yeah, mine somehow still holds up the wing and everything. I don't know how those little shocks are that stout, but they're working their ass off. They're trying their best. Even the one on the hood, I still have a factory steel hood. It's heavy as can be, but it's like you spend $1,000 on a hood for what?
Well, and then you're gonna do more wheelies.
8 pounds, yeah, and then more wheelies.
Then you're doing more wheelies. You're putting the weight back on there anyway.
Yeah, and then even like I tried to spice it up with a gear, and then you fight different things there.
So have you still been fighting? Because I remember
I've gotten the wheelies pretty tamed down now, and it's been like 117, 116, 60 foot. So it's pretty good for a 3,200-pound car.
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty confident with that, but again, it's just hard to throw any more at it off the hit because you start to try to stop that crank so hard that you actually end up like warping it. That's what killed my last motor was a bent crank.
Oh, really?
Not broken, just bent a little bit.
So are you going to go billet or this time?
Yeah, but then your block's still the weak point. So you kind of, I don't know, you end up in a weird spot.
Pandora's box with everything.
Build rods, build a block. Why don't you just do that?
Just keeps on going up.
Like I said, you just buy a different car. You just buy a different car. That's the best move. You wait until somebody's sick of their Fox body, and then you buy that.
Then you buy like
as a roller.
Roller, everything ready to go. And then you can swap everything over.
Exactly. You just put everything into that. You wait until somebody's sick of their Fox body, because in the end of the day, I just want a lighter car.
Yeah.
I don't care how much you spend on parts. You need something lighter.
You just want to just give up the F body like that and just throw it away?
I would.
Man.
Yeah.
It's just like, that hurts my heart.
Yeah. I try to have no sentimental attachment or nostalgia with these cars because
they're tools.
Yeah, they just have to be
They are what they are.
Fun and win races. That's really it. Just win lights. It could be any car.
I can't do that. If I got rid of Sketch, I think I'd be so sad. Like that's why I don't even care about the money and just putting it in it, because I bought that car when I was like 20, I think 22 or 23, and just the memories and the thing. I mean, I've just all the fun stuff, and I can't.
It's too attached.
I'm so attached to that thing. I want to met Chad. I want to met you. I want to have been on 1320 without that car.
I know. It's made you famous. I get it.
No, I'm not famous.
Get it.
I just friends and all my friends I made.
It's brought you all this internet fame. You can't get rid of it. I know Sarah would be mad if you got rid of it.
She would be mad too. Yeah,
she would be more angry.
She would like when it kept breaking. She was like, she'd even cry. She's like, man, I'm so sad that it's broke and I want to have it back. And it's just it does. It brings
people don't realize like there's no harm in just parking a car.
No, yeah, no, and that's
like there's no harm in that. You can just park it for a year, 2 years, 3 years. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And then get back to it. Like you can collect parts.
And you find other hobbies, which I never thought I would like to do. I like jet skiing and boating and stuff, but I even found another hobby where I like to ride bikes now. I'm like, I never thought I'd like riding bikes, but it's been awesome. Like riding up and down the coast. Like one of the days we talked about doing. Yes. Getting together and doing that.
And then I had a kid.
And you had a kid. You went off and had a kid and
ruined it, dude. Knocked up some broad, and now here I am.
We could ride our bikes in the street, like every other biker.
I gotta wear a helmet now.
I haven't been doing that. No helmet. I even yelled at the guys. I'm like, why are you riding in the middle of the street? There's a bike lane. What are you doing?
Yeah, people don't know. They don't know if they're committed to being a car or a bike.
They're at the stop. They're even at the stop sign.
Identity crisis.
Like,
it's tough. Like, how do you know? And if you drive down to like Sarasota, it's all the Amish people on bikes.
Yeah, that's right. The three-wheeler.
The three-wheelers with the Amish style hat and stuff.
Electric seat. Electric.
It's a significant amount of Amish people table down there.
There is
That would be a
lot.
fun sick week stop. Like the Amish area.
They would look at it and be like, what's happening?
Because there's a bunch of Amish restaurants and stuff too where they sell pies and like butter by the loaf. All kinds
all
of
the
good
sick week
stuff.
guys are buying the stuff up. Like, yeah.
Brad Vasco, I was just messaging with him, and he said that they were going to eat Amish like lunch, and he sent me pictures, and it looked freaking amazing.
Amish
like it
cuisine.
was, yeah, it was awesome. But it's funny that you say that. It all makes sense.
Yeah, it's a real thing. I don't understand it. I guess they moved from like Pennsylvania to Sarasota, which is like,
just coming down Sarasota. Like I never even, they don't have Amish in Nebraska, right?
No.
So like coming from Nebraska to here, and I was like driving around, like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And I'm like, and then people are down here like, that's Amish people. I'm like, oh, okay, like that's cool. Like I had no idea.
So are you signing up for any other Dragon Drives this year?
I'll do Race Week 2.0 again. 1.0 is always in June, and it's too hard to get away from work. We're just swamped during June. So
But it's so
I'll do
much prettier.
2.0 again. Well, it's 1.0 this year is where 2.0 normally goes
Oh, okay.
in Texas and everything. And then 2.0 is like Louisiana, Texas area. So that'll kind of be different.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And then there's a local.
I-10 is horrible though on the way from Louisiana, Texas. I hope they avoid that one.
I'll have to pay attention and see.
I mean, I know 2.0 has been known for their bad Oklahoma roads, so 1.0
Yeah.
I guess now has that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because poor Matt Frost, man. I mean, he's been throwing so many curveballs with those events.
All that stuff. Yeah.
But
It's awesome. It's been fun. I look
So-
forward to 2.0 being different
So didn't you win that Rocky Mountain
twice.
twice?
Yeah.
Two
First
times
one I
wins.
beat Garrett.
Dang.
Yeah, that was a
Dang.
good.
We're
that
not
was-
worthy.
That was a good. That was a good year there. I enjoyed that. That was fun.
What year was that?
21,
21.
I think.
yeah, and that was like a straight up beat, not like a he broke, right? That was like,
They were fighting issues,
yeah.
and I was just trying to be consistent. No, I went there to get second. Like Leroy was way faster, I thought, than I was. So I just
But
wanted
that's
to,
the Dragon Drive,
yeah,
man.
I wanted to run 8s, and they were fighting some clutch issues. And he had one bad day where he had to turn in like an 11 or something. And then the last day, I gave it the beans and ran an 8.0 something, and
Dang.
worked out.
Well,
good.
then altitude adds that curveball that
Yeah.
people don't realize. And
I feel like, like a lot of times I feel like you guys get used to Bradenton.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%. We're so spoiled.
Yeah.
It's
And,
such a great track.
We're used to some of these crappy tracks, so sometimes it's about power management.
Yeah. So, like when you did Sick Week and did Rocky Mountain Race Week, like what has been your favorite drag and drive event?
That's hard to say. I mean, they're all fun because just the environment,
One
you
way
know
to
what I
beat
mean?
Garrett.
I mean, I enjoyed that one. That was a really special one. My mom had just died, so it was a super emotional whole thing of winning that one. They're all awesome. I think that Rocky Mountain Race Weeks kind of feel a little bit more family than Sick Week does.
Yeah, Sig Week is very professional.
Yeah,
And like,
Sick Week has a lot faster cars, obviously, so there's more maybe cool stuff to go watch. Obviously, it's February and we're in good weather, so that's
Yep,
nice.
everybody
We're at
wants to get
tracks
out of
that I can
snow.
I've never seen
just
so many
go
fans.
rip at. Yes, the
the
amount of
stands
people
at a
walking
Dragon
around was awesome. It was
That was
sweet.
insane.
Yeah,
Monday,
just-
Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm seeing full
Yeah,
stands.
full.
I was like,
That's
what
wild.
the
It was
heck is
awesome.
going on here? Because
Yeah.
that's not normal. Dragon Drives are like during the week.
Right.
Yeah.
People don't make it out to them, but then you see these full stands. I'm like,
And
this is
Sick Week's
nuts.
getting bigger and bigger too. Like
Yeah.
Like,
You can't
it's-
get in. Like, it's impossible to get in. And then now they do Sick Summer and they do Death Week, and there's all kinds of different ones that Tom Bailey's got going on.
Yeah.
So-
He's a
got
busy guy.
Yeah, he's got a lot going on. He's gonna have to hire I bet he's got a crew of people
Yeah.
to help him do
Sick
stuff.
Summer seems cool up in like the Michigan area,
Yeah.
like during summer, which is a nice time to.
I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, I work too much. So, realistically, the racing that I do is my no preps and then Dragon Drives. I
'cause you do the
Race
no
Week
preps.
2.0, and then I do Sick Week, and then I race my no preps, whether it's the Vert or the Camaro. I had big aspirations this year of trying to race both cars, and you say it's easy, but then just think about getting both cars to the track, right? So I just raced the Camaro just because it's fun.
Yeah, you got to have some pretty good people to turn over a car for the next pass.
Yeah,
And you're
for
looking
that.
at logs.
And I got great guys that help, but I also own the food truck at the track where we do the no preps. I got a great bunch of guys that run that too, but it's stressful with the
And
food
girls.
truck, guys and girls, yes. With the food truck and racing and sponsoring the event, there's just a lot going on. So
Yeah, it's definitely pulled in multiple different directions at the
Yeah.
same place, and then you probably have customers there.
yeah, racing,
Then you add that on top
tuning
of
all
it.
their stuff. They want me to look at data logs and
Somebody come up to you, hey,
tough.
can you just look at this real quick?
Just
I retune my whole car real quick.
Right.
Like, that's not real
That's-
quick.
Yeah, just like at the ice cream cruise, you're helping
Yeah,
me tune
running-
Sketch and everything just this year or
Somebody's got
last
to
year.
do it, yeah.
So I felt bad asking him, but it needs some cleaning.
that's what I'm there for. I mean, that's what I do.
Yeah,
At the end of the day, work is first. You know, playing comes second, work comes first.
yeah, and customer cars, I mean, you kind of have to help them in a way.
For sure.
Get down the track, you know, that's
Yep.
kind of your obligation, I guess, as the guy that put it together.
Right.
Because they're not going to be thrilled. Yeah, you're not on the clock, but they're not going to be thrilled with you if, like, come Monday, they're like, hey,
Left me high and dry.
yeah, like, we did all this work on this car, and then, like, you know,
I
second round
tried.
comes around
Most
and
of my
you're
customers that come out and race, I try to really sit down with them and get them a good idea of what they're looking at so they can kind of do their own thing. Just because at the end of the day, that's going to make them better racers, right? If they can do their own tuning or look at the data log. But I also understand that's a stiff learning curve. Like,
Yeah.
Well, you
It's
have
a
to
lot.
have some level of that
Yeah.
to think that you're going to run a program of racing. Like,
Right.
you can't rely on the tuner engine builder every step of the way, or chassis guy every single pass to look over your car. It's kind of like you have to fly on your own a little bit
something.
there.
a little solo.
Him staying at my house, you know, and we doing some stuff on Sketch lately. He's been kind of showing me things, and it's kind of cool. Like, it's kind of cool to learn. It's just usually he just like grabs the computer and starts going, and I'm just kind of like, I'll just be quiet and let him do his own thing, and then.
Well,
'cause
we've
I don't wanna
talked about
bother
this
you.
with your car. If you can get it to run a soft 60-foot and then 850s, just leave it there forever.
Yep.
Don't touch it.
I agree.
You don't need to add anything, change, like, if it doesn't run 850, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, because it should be able to very dialed
Do that,
in,
yeah.
do that.
And if
Slow
it-
60 foot so it gets down everywhere.
Yeah.
Drive it, same tune on the street.
Just have fun with the car. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I want to do, and get back into it.
And
Like,
it's, that should be a really good spot for it. And then 850 is good for a lot of classes. Like, if you, like, there's a ton of 850 index style classes.
Oh, speaking of, because I was thinking about, you know, using your lift and stuff if I needed it.
Yeah.
But I was talking about, do you ever have that guy's number for the lift that installed your lift or that helped
yeah,
you?
I could find it somewhere. I hope it's written on the side of it. I don't remember. I mean,
I'll maybe take a look at that.
You're gonna put a lift in?
Post. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, just so I'm not bothering you all the time, because like you helped me out so much over the last year, helping me with
Well, it's
all the
nice.
little problems and getting the overheating issue fixed.
It's
And
nice to have them down here in Florida for hurricane season too. It's nice to put the race car up a
Yeah,
little
get
bit.
Yeah,
right,
that's
get it up
true.
off ground level.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
let me put this thing up a couple feet.
yeah, let's just get that up on top.
Yeah, because it gets pretty wet. You're at way out of the flood zone, but it can, you know,
Yeah, you never know. I
enough
mean,
rain and suddenly things are looking wet.
It's like, have you had a lot of rain when we had that one hurricane? Or did you
I
get
mean, my
anything this
yard
year?
will get pretty flooded. Like it'll get a foot of water in there in the backyard, but I haven't gotten to that point where I'm that scared of it yet. But it's nice.
What do you
to
do
have
with the
Never know.
turtles? You just leave them there?
They
Or do
just
you-
hang out. Yeah,
just-
they just don't go in the water.
I mean, and I saw your chickens like getting killed. Like, what the heck, man?
I got one left.
Got one out of all
I
the
got one
chickens.
left. Yeah, I've had dozens of chickens at this point, just slaughtered by bobcats.
Is that what it is?
I think so. I'm pretty sure one of them's a bobcat, and one of them I recently lost to a raccoon.
Oh, weird. Raccoons like chickens?
I mean, who doesn't?
That's true.
They're
That's so
delicious.
true. They are delicious.
They're delicious.
I don't blame him. I'm like, I get it. Like, you saw a chicken there to eat. Like, I would have eaten the same thing if I was you.
It's
They
all
are
about
delicious.
getting the chicken. I didn't
How
know.
heavy is the Camaro that you race?
My Camaro is light. It's
I feel like that thing looks light.
it is with me in it is 2480 or something
Are you
like that.
serious? That's like half my weight.
Yeah.
I mean, not me physically.
It's
bigger.
light. I'm to the point on it where going back to racing, like I don't get around a lot. So my home track, I-29, is pretty much the only place I've raced that car at. Big tires are weird. So I'm learning some stuff with big tires. Got it to where it's really on the bars like the whole 8th mile, which is tough because then you can't steer. So I'm figuring some stuff out with that. But it's a fun car.
Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty cool, but I mean, you could put it on a small tire, right?
Eventually, I want to, for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how fast I could go on the big tire just to do it because I've never done it.
Yeah.
And then 100% put it on small tire because they're around where I'm at. Big tire racing is,
Yeah,
we have big tire class at the no prep. I think we get 8 cars,
Everywhere.
and
Big
it's
tire
and it's
racing.
it's
Don't
the
do
same
it.
8 cars.
Don't big tire race.
don't big tire race.
Get a small
It's
tire.
it's fun. Like I like it because it's a huge tire. We were up to testing at I did a customer appreciation day at the track, and I took the Camaro, and I think I was up to leaving on 23 pounds or something, 107 60 foot. Like it was fun. Like it, you know what I mean? Like it was just a good time.
That's rowdy.
What
Yeah.
does that feel like?
I felt like getting hit by a truck.
Like they just when you release trans brake?
Yeah, it was awesome. So we're figuring it out. I was getting after it hard and then lazy out the back door, running like 430s or whatever. But I really want to get it figured out, get it to a track where I could maybe get after it hard, get a stupid fast time on it, and then put it on smalls and try to run small tires or something with it. But
Like a small
at the end of the day,
tire,
too,
slick, or-
I'm not a racer. I'm not like Joey. You know what I mean? I'm a workaholic. I work. I build my stuff. I have fun. I do customer stuff. I'd never be out there doing small tire stuff like Joey.
Every night
right?
in the summertime,
Right.
or every weekend.
Yeah, every
traveling.
chance you get to a 4-car shootout. Or,
So,
Yeah, and winning.
but I
pretty
would
much
like to
every
put it on
time.
smalls just to see, right? Like I like to figure stuff out. You know what I mean? The more stuff I figure out, the more stuff I try, the better overall I am at helping customers and doing different stuff. So
yeah, because that's probably pretty different for you, like a true 4-link versus
Yeah.
like the Corvette.
the Corvettes, independent rear, like trying to make a radial work on that. Like I finally just put 275s on it for Streetcar Takeover here in a couple weeks just because I want to try it. But it scares me because I can't keep that tire planted. You know what I mean? It doesn't keep pushing it down as I go down the track. My shock data shows that it's pretty much level the whole time, and I fight tire shake in 3rd and 4th gear. So to put a smaller tire on scares me because I'm like, is it going to be worse?
Yep.
But you don't know till you try sometimes. So it is what it
might
is.
love it.
But it might work. It might not. I don't know. We'll see.
I mean, at Bradenton, it might be pretty happy. It'll be interesting to see how Streetcar Takeover goes because they just re-prep the whole track for
Fuel stuff.
Top Fuel.
Yeah.
Like they scraped the whole track, and it's a completely different prep. Like it's
Interesting.
not
it's
radial.
It's
prep.
not a radial prep. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's weird to see how that'll go. I was just out there talking to Lutz, and he was talking about trying to get his car back because I don't think he was super stoked about how his sick week went.
Man, yeah.
He was a little frustrated by it, but he seemed. I mean, the car hadn't sat. The car had
Forever.
sat for.
I mean, there's no denying that he's almost the godfather of
He's
drag
been
and
doing
drive.
it.
You
You've
know
been
what I
seeing
mean?
He's been doing it. You told me last
Drag
time.
week back in 14 or 15. Like,
Yeah.
I remember watching him go down the track and his steering wheel coming off. Like,
Bro,
Was that happened? That was him?
that was him. Like,
Oh
he
my
was.
gosh.
that happened to
Him
me
and Larry
once, too.
Larson fought back and forth. Like, they were always king of the fastest.
I let off the trans brake button once and I was like,
saying,
ah.
wasn't that scary when that comes off? Like,
I mean, you're going so slow at that point. You just hit the brake.
I was like, I thought like mid pass, like it came off on
No, it was on the 60-foot. Like it was
thank
right when
God.
I let off the button. It was in my hand, and I was like, oh,
you. And
okay.
you slide it back on. You're like, all right, we're good. Go sideways as you're driving.
It sucked too, though, because in that instance, it happened to me where my first qualifier pass, the gas pedal broke. Right when I let off the button, it just went bloop. And I had to like pull it to like drive because it was just like. And then the next qualifier, the steering wheel comes off, and Bronte's like pissed. She's like, "You got to put
What's
together
going
a
on?
qualifier
Right,
pass
you gotta
here,
do
bud.
something."
We're not going home because you had these stupid issues.
Get this thing together.
Got a qualifier together, but still, I mean, like little things like that. That happens on a drag and drive, and
racing.
suddenly you're there until midnight.
Yeah,
Oh man.
100%.
Yeah, you got to be on your game on those deals because you don't get many passes.
Yeah, because you were pretty consistent on sick week. You never did. You ever do a race twice or 3 times at sick week, or was it just
At the end, when it's like kind of all run and you're just trying to get like
Like good times.
you're
like-
close
time.
and you're like, and that car you can hot lap. It actually seemed to enjoy being hot lapped.
just again and again and again? I mean,
Yeah.
we're hot lapping it at Streetcar Takeover too.
Yeah, it
and
doesn't care. I mean, even like doesn't need burnout. You just clean off the tires. it's the easiest car to run ever.
So my next question is Chip ready to run
For
Streetcar Takeover?
I mean, it could probably be. I mean, it runs and drives. It could probably be like kind of cleaned up, I guess. I don't know if it needs anything. Maybe an oil change. Maybe just clear it out. I have some new tires. Well, used new tires that are coming for it.
Tires.
Yeah.
And anything new is on Cooper's cars used
For chip, for sure.
chip.
It usually gets whatever the Camaro isn't using at that time.
There you go. Hand me down from the Camaro.
Yeah, because it
Nothing
doesn't
wrong with
need
that.
like, Mickey Thompsons are weird. Like they'll eventually just not work. Like you'll make 50 passes on them, great,
They'll
and
just
then
stop.
They just stop. Like they just like don't hook anymore.
So and you're gonna do probably when you do your billet coyote motor, and put that in the Camaro, you're gonna take the 2JZ and put it in the
You don't do a billet
Chip.
coyote, dude. Stock
Stock block.
stock block.
Stock
yeah,
block.
Stock block,
apparently
stock
that's
heads.
the
You can
thing,
run
right?
6s on a stock crank.
Yeah. You can go
stock-
620s.
He put the billet crank in finally,
Billet crank,
but
yeah.
he went last year, went 640s or whatever, 650s.
I
on
bet
a
it
stock
would go
crank.
620s on a stock crank
It probably
too.
could. You're probably right.
It's just
you're probably right.
they just changed it. Like
Yeah. Just so they felt safe.
they were feeling a little bit of movement on it.
It's insane. I mean, that's so impressive.
That
That's
is
just
impressive.
that's like what a time to be alive. You know what I
To
mean?
see these cars go.
Like when I
Stock
started
cat.
racing, like my first drag car was 1996. So 1984 Cutlass, big block Oldsmobile, lots of compression, race gas, trailered it everywhere, ran 1090s. And it was a race car.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was a pretty fast race car. Like if I went to the track, like it was pretty fast for the cars that were there, you know? Like
So in 26 years, the change.
it's insane. Like it is
and then
crazy.
now, I mean, in the next
You can go
10
buy a car
years,
from the
it's gonna
factory
be-
showroom that runs 8s,
Yeah, true. Like,
you know?
Yeah, I mean a freaking Hellcat with like a pulley and wheels and tires, or like a new Mustang with a blower and wheels and like drag radials. They're going 8s.
Yeah. It's
Like, very
it's
minimal.
insane. It's crazy.
well,
Like,
even what that Mustang run that you gave me a ride in, the one you took on, was that Rocky Mountain Race Week?
oh yeah, the
The
one.
GT500.
Yeah.
I think
pretty quick.
that was a 10-second car also.
10-second, but still, like,
no
that's-
cage, so you end up getting limited, of course, on
Yeah,
all those
what it
drag
can do.
drives. But yeah, I mean that was a pulleyed car, 10 seconds, but that was not quite race car. It was more just like cruiser. But even a CTSV, like we were talking, those things will go 9s and 10s pretty easily on the street, on any
day.
surface. Yeah.
Be comfortable driving down the road.
So, will they like limit you then? Because like you have a 10-second car, but you have no cage.
Yeah.
So
You
they'll
kind of
shut
just
you.
get screwed.
You got to do like 11s or something, or 12s or what?
They'll-
Depending on the year.
Yeah, they'll license you or whatever for whatever classification you meet.
Okay.
So if you only meet 1199 or slower, then that's what you gotta
NHRA
run.
did recently allow newer cars to
Go faster.
faster.
999, yeah.
Yeah, which is nice.
Like
so if you
08
have like a
newer,
2025.
But it has to be someone. It has to be like bone stock. Like you can't change
Yeah.
any of the stock safety. Like if you take a seat out and put a race seat in, it doesn't do that anymore.
So if you have a new car like the Teslas and stuff that
Mm-hmm.
are going 9s from factory, you can actually run that. But then Kyle couldn't because he changed everything.
Yeah, it's all cut up.
Cut it
And,
up into put a van over it.
Yeah, arguably made it look pretty sketchy. So that's fair. Can't blame them too much.
No.
But it sucks because, like you're saying, it's like 2008. If you're 2007,
Yeah.
or you have the same model as a 2008, you kind of fall into
Yeah,
that
like-
weird spot.
yeah, kind of got boned.
Yeah, a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's a weird.
But yeah,
deal.
unfortunately, like Sketchy being a convertible, the convertible times are all completely different than non-convertible. So realistically, for you to be able to run what Sketchy could run, you would need a full-on, like at least 25.5,
Yeah.
which
That's
is
the bars everywhere.
full halo, funny car cage, X in the doors, like
Basically
it's
cut the floor out and put a cage in and
Cage
then
in
put the
it.
floor back in.
the full on.
So pretty much be better off taking the engine tranny, putting in something lighter, and just starting all over again.
Welcome. Welcome to the conversation.
Got it now. I'm a little slow at some things.
Every night before I fall asleep, that's what I think about. Sometimes I'll even wake up in a hot sweat
Just thinking about it.
thinking about chassis. Like,
What can I do?
how do I go faster? Oh, wait.
You're thinking. You're always witty at everything you post or everything you say, or it's just great. Like you're a really witty person. Like you know what to
appreciate that.
say, and like I don't have that. Like, but I just envy off what you do, and I just that's why I follow you so much.
Just Yeah, I mean, I could help you out if you want me to make some posts as you. Just send me, add me as an admin on your your Sketchy Vert page.
Yeah.
I'll just
There you
pretend,
go.
I'll imposter you a little bit here.
Yeah, done.
I'll just post my car
That's
and
fine.
see if anybody notices. Because James races that car that's also pewter.
Right.
And
Everybody
you don't know how
confuses.
many people.
I bet.
Tag you too.
And I feel so bad for Gonzo who owns that car because it is so nice and he has so much money and time
car is
into it.
beautiful.
It
To
does
then
look
have
like a
people
nice
say,
car.
"Wow, is that Cooper's car?"
Cooper's like,
man,
no,
you
that's
just
not
hate
me.
that. I don't mind it
Yeah.
because it's way nicer than my car. He bought that thing off the showroom and dropped it right off at Ron Rhodes.
Oh, no
basically.
kidding?
Yeah, like
That's
it's
awesome.
a full Ron Rhodes deal.
That's
So
awesome.
to be mistaken as some 300,000 mile shitbox, it's a disservice to everyone.
V6 car that used to be.
Yeah.
I remember when he bought that car and started building it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, somebody should have told me to buy a Fox body.
You know, it's
What the heck?
You don't want to do that.
I know. They're too tight inside. I like the space that my car has interior wise.
and it fits you. That Camaro fits you. It's like
It's cool because
so rugged.
it's different.
different.
Yeah, it's a good car. I like it. I just give it shit. And
Yeah.
And we couldn't
as
be
we
Peter
do.
Brothers, F-body Peter Brothers anymore because you'd be leaving the pack. You'd break away from the pack, and then I'd be by myself down here.
No, you
The
got
only Peter
James.
car.
You got James.
Oh, then
and
James, yeah.
Gonzo.
That's true.
Close enough. And there's that one that you run into all the time that looks like yours, convertible.
Oh yeah.
You've ran into that at Street Heat, right?
Yep, I did run into that one. At Speed
Yeah.
Heat. Yep.
See,
So it's-
there's other pewter ones. It's like the most common GM color from the 90s.
It is. Even the trucks are like
They
that
put it
color.
on everything.
Everything. Trucks, even all the Pontiacs.
They went through so much pewter in the 90s.
They did.
In the early 2000s. They didn't know what to do.
Like that was- Chad, you probably owned a couple Peter cars, didn't you?
My 89 turbo truck that I have that's now satin black. Originally it was pewter.
It was Peter.
See? It's the color of the 90s.
Yeah.
Pewter.
And that truck was probably back in the 90s, probably one of the baddest, wasn't it?
We built that in 03.
03.
Just a small block Chevy 383.
Oh, didn't you have a front
Single
wheel drive something I
76?
heard all over the
I still have that. That's my Dodge Shadow.
That thing was
Dodge Shadow.
Dodge
nobody
Shadow,
wanted
it's
to
a-
race that thing.
It's a
so fast.
CSXT Shadow. So it was a Shadow that they made for thrifty rental car. They only made 1,000 of them. It's an awesome little car. But as soon as I,
What
as soon
does it
as
have in it for engine?
so
Is
it,
like
it
the
started
Neon?
as a 2.5 non-intercooled turbo,
Mm-hmm.
and then over the progress, I put a neon bottom end on it with a dual overhead cam. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesus, it's been a while. Other way around. It's still a 2.5 bottom end with a neon head on it,
Mm.
dual overhead cam.
So you and Ricardo get along then when you talk about
I
neon.
haven't raced that thing forever, but I loved it. It was a fun car.
He's a big neon guy
Yeah, he
at
is.
heart. And then you got an F body
got
and
a
a V8
Camaro.
LS.
I
and
am
he's
not a
like,
neon guy. I am a Dodge Shadow guy.
Dodge Shadow.
Yeah.
I like
You
calling
still
them
have
neons too. Because then they're
have
like,
the
it's
car.
an SRT4.
Right.
I'm like, it's a neon.
And I worked at the Chrysler dealership when neons
the
first
day.
came out, and I worked on them all the time. So
So around.
It's a neon.
it's whatever. But
If you have an SRT4 out there, you can just call it a neon.
it's a neon.
And you can call Chad to repair anything that you
Yeah.
need on it because
Oh,
Chad
yeah.
loves working on those, right?
I did trainees at the Dodge dealership. I rebuilt 4-speed automatic trainees. No one else wanted to do them. I rebuilt millions of them because Dodge had horrible problems. with
So
them.
did Jamie at PFI, and he
Yeah,
just has his
that's
one
true.
car, and he's rebuilt millions.
The guy's got the Honda. It's on 1.7s.
Well, he has the cursed SRT4 neon.
That
and-
no one sees anymore, right?
Well, the one sick week we did with our Rocky Mountain Race Week, he rebuilt
Oh, that was the same
that-
year that you had the GT500. Yeah, he rebuilt the trainee a bunch.
He
didn't
rebuilt that
Yeah.
trans every night,
That's right. I
like
remember
3
that.
times a day.
Yes.
It felt like.
And honestly, that was the problem with my Shadow is it would break. It started as a manual, and then I put an auto in it, and it would shift and break axles and break input shafts. It was like 500 horse,
Yeah.
Back
No one
in
wanted to race him
back
back
in the
in the
early
day.
2000s, that was a lot of power. Like it was fun. It's a fun front wheel drive car.
Yeah.
I remember watching him gap people on our street. Should I say it?
But otherwise,
the
it's
street
just-
we raced on.
It's just been sitting.
You don't have to blow up the street. You don't have to do it to the street. They're probably still racing. They're probably
They
racing
are
right
still
now.
racing. I
Yeah, I'm
asked
sure
Chad
they
that. I'm like, are they still racing back at the racetrack
yeah.
at home? And
Yeah, you
Chad's
can't
like,
blow
oh,
up
yeah.
the street.
I don't want to.
Now they just race in Amazon warehouse parking lots.
doing circles.
You just have to wait until right after the shift change, so everybody's in there for a while.
They get smoked.
Yeah, you gotta wait a little while.
Like, oh, there's someone. Those never disappoint. Watching that.
Well, they're good. They're well lit.
Yeah.
They got great street lights and stuff, and it's all concrete.
It's
so
all concrete.
for some reason, they seem to get away with it.
It is weird, isn't it?
I mean, they seem okay with it. Jeff Bezos doesn't seem to care.
Yeah, that's nuts. I don't understand it.
Well, guys, we'll wrap this up. Where can they find you guys at? You got races coming up this summer.
Yep. Shop Inc. heads up, no prep. We'll be at that. Be at Ice Cream Cruise for sure.
Yep.
Ice Cream
I'll be
Cruise is
there.
always a good one.
And the Shop Inc. is your shop. And
Yep. Shop Inc.
out in, what is it?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska. So late model Chevy stuff,
Yep.
ideally.
Yeah, we mainly try to stay around that, but we'll do anything. I mean, is what
So,
it is.
like
but
everything
we
from
do-
like your typical heads and cam car to
yeah,
like
we're doing a full
builds.
chassis. I'm building a full tube frame car right now on the jig, and we do it all.
So Shop Inc., all kinds of good stuff. Badass LS shop up there. I don't know if any other ones. So go to the Shop Inc. if you're in Nebraska. Just because I don't know of any other. So it's just the Shop Inc. as far as I know.
The shopping.
Yeah, as far as I know, Nebraska is corn and the shop.
Corn and the shop.
Perfect.
I-80 or I-29 Dragway.
He's
Yeah.
even had the Leroy at his shop a few times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
Darren
fixed her
even bought
there.
your Camaro.
We fixed her.
He
there.
bought the.
Oh yeah, toast is.
Oh,
he bought
yeah.
toast for me.
Toast was from you.
Toast is
I
from
forgot
Chad.
about that. Man, that's funny. That was a funny car when that thing showed up because it was like old build.
Old build.
Yeah.
I
and
bought it on a trade. A customer owed me some money and gave me the car and some cash. And
old builds are really fun to look around at.
Yeah.
Like a build that was high performance, everything build
Back in the day.
badass,
At
but
the
you know,
time.
20 years ago is fun to
exactly.
see.
So
Yeah.
you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, like.
Yeah, but it's not like it was badly built. It was just this is
Just
what
old.
they could do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is-
like it's not like a current bad build.
right, right. It
Just think about
wasn't
the-
built wrong. It
the
was built
cars-
right, just
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long time ago.
And then the cars now that we see now, are people are gonna be like, well, where's the electric motor at? You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, what is this?
Where can they follow you at? Are you gonna post anything, bud?
I'm gonna give you my account number so you can start posting for me all your cars. So
Send me over your social security number and your account, and the routing number as well.
so you guys can find me on Cooper's channel. So.
Yeah. So follow Sketchy Vert on all the things: Instagram, social media, Snapchat. I think.
Snapchat, yes. Snapchat, Instagram for sure. Facebook sometimes.
Good deal, guys. Well, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us,
that
Coop.
That was a
Appreciate
good
it.
time. We'll see you guys next time.